The sun's shining, birds are singing, and all feels right in the world.
Until the season changes and suddenly everything seems darker, less lively, and you lose your motivation to get out of bed.
If you struggle with depression, you're not alone. In fact, 1 in 5 people experience some form of depression, and no matter the time of year, it may affect your behavioral or physical ability to live a happy life.
At the American Psychiatric Association Foundation, we understand what you're going through, and we're here to help. Our vision is to build a mentally healthy nation for all, because we want you to live your best life and be your best you all year round. We work every day to eliminate stigma, combat mental illness and substance use disorders, and advance mental wellness.
If you or someone you love needs help, you are not alone. Please visit mentallyhealthynation.org to learn more.
All right, so we're back. You're listening to the Ken Pittman Show. One of the issues I'm having with the flock camera controversy in New Bedford, I mean, this has been something that was installed in the year 2024, before Donald Trump was president. And here we are, late August 2026, and people are wanting something done about it. Now, New Bedford Light's reporting that of the 7 city councilors that responded to their requests, some only by email, all said they had only learned the flock cameras were in use within the last few weeks. In 2025, the city council voted to continue funding the use of flock. So that can't be true. Is that a lie? What is that? How can both of these things be true? You didn't know that they were in use, but you voted for their renewal? The expensive renewal? Can this be explained, Ryan? Is one of these things can't be true? Can they both be true? 508-996-0500. Again, this is a conversation that maybe should have taken place 2 years ago when Joe Biden was president. And now it's just coming, the fight's now just starting. It's kind of comical. And what wasn't comical, I guess it was in some ways, the New Bedford Council meeting the other night. Ryan Pereira lost complete control of the meeting. Apparently, we were told here by a witness that he had, during a recess, called the New Bedford police to send more officers than the 2 that normally show up for the meetings, and that some 6 or 8 officers were kept in the hallway and not utilized to control the crowd a little bit or even remove anybody. That didn't even happen. So why were they taken off the streets while they were protecting the city if they weren't going to be used to solve the problem? I mean, these are fair questions, I think. 508-996-0500. It's all about whether you want these things or not. We're talking about a country that has a growing problem of human trafficking. More and more criminal activity where they're not pulling over, not obeying the police, but taking off. These are tools to find these people. And when I look at some of the things that are being done around the country, Mayor Mamdani is going to do away with the database for New York gangs that police have accumulated over decades of hard work. You know, we have busloads of agitators like Antifa. If they do something violent, as they're masked and in numbers too large to get, you can't. Can you imagine not being able to use the flock cameras to follow them back to their own cars and identify who has done these things? We have a good tool here that, under the right use, is going to make society safer, clearly. And it's just a matter of taking a couple of steps to make sure the cameras are not abused. But they want to do away with the cameras. They don't want to hear anything else. It's just unreasonable. I don't believe everybody showed up organically. I think that some political groups, typical suspects, sent people there to agitate. And I can't believe that the police were not utilized after being taken off the streets of New Bedford, brought to City Hall because of a problem, and they just stood around in the hallway awaiting further instructions. That has got to be challenged. That is nonsense. I mean, it's got to be, the invertebrae has got to come to mind here. Have the spine to do something. You have the authority. You have a problem. Take care of it. Law enforcement, keyword enforcement. You're going to bring them. 508-996-0500. You're on the air. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi.
Ken, you have a lot of good topics going on today.
Thank you.
That's interesting. I just want to touch on, I could say something about all of them, but I'm going to limit it to the meeting. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
They, no matter who had what to say about whether they wanted or didn't want flock cameras, they made sure nobody got a chance to say anything.
Right.
So obviously it was counterproductive. I cannot believe the way it was handled, because nobody made a point. Nothing gets accomplished. What was the point of that whole situation?
That might be the biggest story.
Right, because they're already, I believe, they're already being suspended as far as the use of them altogether, or just whether it's.
I think they're going to be. I think they're going to be turned off until they can come up with a decision on whether they're going to continue to use them or whether they're going to alter how they're used, and the access to them and the abuses of them can be eliminated. That kind of thing. But that conversation should take place. I agree with that much.
I feel like that conversation needed to take place before they got enacted. Like sneakily. I understand.
I agree. Yeah.
Right. I mean,
Chris McCarthy made that point.
But I want to say, there's one woman that I've heard of that's been accused of misusing them. Do you believe for 1 second there's only one female that abused those cameras for her own benefit?
Without having any proof of anybody else doing that, I think it's highly unlikely she's the only one, to be honest.
She is absolutely not the only one. I wonder why she's the only one being brought to, the public's knowledge that she's done this. I don't know how the rest of them have kept themselves covered, but before flock cameras...
Maybe because she's the only one that had a plaintiff.
Interesting, because it's very difficult to be a plaintiff against the police. I'm going to just tell you that, for one. And number two, when they all band together, and when they get the fire department on board and everything, your life can be, But here's what I know. Long before flock cameras, long before any kind of situation like that, police have used, male police as well, have used all what's available to them to do things like she has done.
To meet chicks? To meet chicks, that simple. I know for a fact it's happened in the past.
It absolutely happens. We got to figure out a way to make sure there's, systems of checks, like lots of checks.
Well, like I was saying in the last couple of hours, as I've been talking about this, there was a time when police could just run plates and nobody would know that they're running the plates, and sometimes they would show up at the home or apartment of a young lady. They had to finally do something. Now you have to sign your badge into any plate you run, which is that's a sensible way to deal with that.
Yeah, or you get your friend to do it, who's also, a co-conspirator.
Well, your friend's going to get in trouble for you, then that's on them.
Right. It's a big situation, but I do hope they are allowed to use them ultimately, and I hope there's a multi-layered check system before people can just willy-nilly go in there seeing what's happening. All right, have a great weekend, Ken.
Thanks for the call. Yeah, look, there's limits to authority, there's limits to civil liberties, and we have to find a balance. Like I said, we're talking about civil liberties that have been put into place to protect us all based on the 18th century environment, right? And now we're in the 21st century with some incredible technology that nobody could have imagined when these rules were made, but we can still get it done. Common sense. That's why the Constitution is as brilliant as it is, because it does breathe, it does allow for things to change like technology, things to change like environment and all this stuff. So you can still maintain the spirit of civil liberties and the limits of authority. And if it improves the way we solve crimes, things like that. I mean, why would you do away with it if you can balance it?
Ken, does the town of Dartmouth have flock cameras?
Yeah, so Dartmouth, I'm sure, is another town that's going to have to deal with this. And they should. They should have a meeting and be transparent and make everybody feel comfortable if they're going to go forward with them, that it's going to have, accountability by anybody operating them, and it's going to have limits as far as civil liberties. But they should not. In my opinion, if you have something like this, it can be used appropriately to solve some crimes, and that's really what we want to do. Your expectations in public, your expectations of privacy are fictitious. If you're in the public square, you should not expect privacy. And we have a lot of problems going on. We have terrorism. We have sex trafficking of minors. We have illegal immigrants that are here in the country after committing violent crimes, either here or back home. To be able to track them down and get them out and away from our communities and make the community safer, why would you be opposed to all of that? 508-996-0500. You are next, and welcome to the show.
Hi. Good morning, Ken.
Good morning, Ken.
In watching, so I went on New Bedford Light, and I watched one of the videos. And, I find that it's the same people, crying about the same things, that, it's racist and it's this and it's that. Really, the reason they don't want the flock cameras is they feel that it gives ICE a tool in which to find the illegal aliens that are in this area.
I think there's some of that, yeah.
Yeah, and I find it really comical that all the Democrats in this area, including many who are on the city council, who love, who believe in their democratic ways and, do not believe in law and order, now they've got a little taste of their own medicine. And
although
when
I don't believe
a taste of their own medicine, they freaked out.
I don't believe John Mitchell would share these cameras with ICE.
Well, he probably wouldn't, but if he was forced to do it, he would have to do it. But I mean, I'm just saying, that's what that's why the people who are there, who are causing such a ruckus, who are totally rude and obnoxious and have no decorum whatsoever, those are your typical, those are the same No Kings people, those are the same Democrats that are, drinking the Kool-Aid, shall we say, and believing all the BS. And they don't care about law and order. They want the illegals here. They like crime. They don't want to give the police or ICE or anyone any additional. And the key is, too, all these people have cameras. So think about this. They don't want flock cameras, yet everyone walking around has a phone and they can take pictures. And what do you see when you see ICE arresting someone? You see all the idiots standing there all with their cameras out taking pictures.
Yeah.
That's what the left is really good at, taking pictures. What about that?
Well, I made the point. I made the point earlier. After the city hall meeting, the media was outside. Everybody that was causing trouble up in the gallery was outside with their cameras on.
Exactly. So how absurd is it when you think about the entire thing? But I think it's really sad that Ryan Pereira didn't have the chutzpah to take control of the meeting and bring the police in and have
not his best moment.
No, not at all. Sometimes these people, because it's all a lack of law and order and discipline. And he didn't know what to do with himself. It's like, come on, are you an adult or what? You're a person in a place of power. Use your power. Do something.
Well, I think that's going to influence the way they vote for the city council president going forward. Is this somebody that has the stones to enforce and not allow this to happen? I mean, this is now something I think when you can, it's not all about friendship. You're going to be able to control and maintain order in the room.
Exactly. Well, I mean, Ken, that's the other thing too about mean. He doesn't want to be mean because that's another.
Hey, he's the one that called the police but didn't use them. Kathy? Oh, we lost her. 508-996-0500. I'll invite her to call back and finish her thoughts if that's what she wants to do. I don't know what happened to the connection there, but we were told by an eyewitness, I think Mr. Sapiolis, that it was Pereira who actually called the police and requested their presence in larger numbers than they normally have for these meetings because of the problem, but kept them in the hallway. Didn't instruct them to start removing people. Number one, there's a couple of things there, right? I mean, they're no longer on the streets protecting the city. They're responding to a request by the city council because of a big problem. They weren't even used. They were kept in the hallway, they could have allowed the meeting to continue and accomplished something the taxpayers are paying for both the police salaries and these city hall meetings, the council meetings, the taxpayers are funding, and he suspended it because probably of how he would be viewed for enforcing the decorum of the city hall council chamber meeting. That can never be a consideration. You got to stop putting yourself first as a motivation. It's too important. I mean, there are people out there who will be happy to hijack these meetings every week, and we all know that. You can't have it. You know, that's why you have enforcement. It's a deterrent to further crimes, right? And in addition to punishing the people who are guilty of whatever, but it also prevents more crimes. You've invited chaos. Do you recall him over this? Does the city council have a mechanism to recall the council president if he can't maintain order, if he refuses to enforce? There's a question. Anybody have the answer to that? I don't know that one. 508-996-0500. I'm not going to sit here and read the city charter on live radio, but
I don't know if it's in the city charter though, Ken.
It's got to be somewhere.
If you can recall.
Sure, that's got to be somewhere. Mechanism to get rid of the city council president?
Yeah.
Recall? I mean, why wouldn't that be? That'd be crazy if they didn't. 508-996-0500. And again, this is, not to be too redundant, but this is something that's been in place since 2024 when Joe Biden was president. And now people are, what's that thing? I mean, come on. This is why it's important to pay attention to politics in your busy lives. You know, instead of things already in place, then the damage done, you got to pay attention. Now, the city council, this is interesting. They're saying they weren't aware the cameras were operating. They, in 2025, voted to continue the use of them.
Service, yes.
So that can't be true. 7, they're saying, the New Bedford Light's reporting 7 out of 7 potentially lied to them about this. That's very interesting. We'll be back.
WBSM, New Bedford's news talk station. Listen at home or in the office on your smart speaker. Enable our skill and tell your smart speaker, play WBSM. We are New Bedford's news talk station. WBSM.
All right, so, we're talking about the vote by the city council to renew flock cameras in the 2025 budget after telling the New Bedford Light they weren't aware that the cameras were operating. And apparently they're offering, it was a vague subscription renewal. I'm sorry, you're one of a handful of people that decide the spending practices of New Bedford. You don't have the intellectual curiosity to know what you're paying for. This is at $36,000 plus for the resubscription. That's a half a cop's salary right there, right? You're not going to question what that is? You're not going to ask any questions? None of you? I'm embarrassed for you that that's your answer. I'm sorry, all of you are accountable. Was it laziness? Was it indifference? Or was it an outright lie? Which one is it? Choose your poison. 508-996-0500. Pats are on tonight, Ryan.
Yeah, yes they are, Ken.
Against a pretty good Eagles team.
Yeah, I think we'll probably see Drake May today, Ken.
You won't see Devonta Smith. You won't see Mekhi Lemon, the first-round draft choice wide receiver out of USC, who's replacing A.J. Brown, who's now on the Patriots. Both of those guys will not be suiting up tonight. But Philadelphia has a good front office. They should be in pretty good shape. I mean, I personally think Dallas might be favored in my mind to win that division. I never picked Dallas, but I like that team roster right now.
If I'm Mike Vrabel, Ken, I'm playing Drake May for like a series.
Maybe 2.
Yeah, maybe 1 or 2 drives, maybe. But other than that,
because he's not going to play next week.
No,
against the. Well, they're going to the Browns.
Is he going to
We're playing the Browns next week, last preseason game. So they're not going to play Drake May next week. So, if he struggles in the first series, get him out there again. You want him to leave on a good note. But, boy, the way things have been going, he and A.J. Brown really look great. Well, we're not limiting the conversation to that, though. Obviously, we have some big issues here. Good morning. You're on the air.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Hello?
Hi, you're on the air.
Okay.
Can you turn your radio down so that we can hear you?
Did.
Okay.
I just did. I'll tell you who do you think want those flock cameras? Take a guess.
Who do I think wants them?
Don't want them.
Well, I think there's a number of agendas. One would be people who don't want things documented.
Yeah, like drug dealers, drug addicts, and people
Sex
that want
traffickers, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the cops need tools. These people that are going there, I don't know what their problem is. They sound like they're all idiots, myself. Seriously. And the city council, shame on them. Do the right thing. They're a bunch of cowards.
Well, one person could have stopped it, and only the president of the city council has the ability to do that. The others have to, can be victimized by the lack of enforcement, as we saw with Brian Gomes. But, the idea that they weren't aware that the cameras were in operation, 7 out of 7 contacted by the New Bedford Light claimed they weren't aware the cameras were operating. They voted for the renewal.
Well, what can you do? This is
that's not. I can't brush it off that easily. I mean, why? How can you say that? You spent $36,000 of the taxpayers' money and you didn't know what you were paying for.
Yeah, if I had, and I know you may disagree with me, that's okay. If I had a choice if I had a choice and only one choice, I would have the flock cameras because when there's a shooting, they're gone by the time the cops come. You know what I mean?
Of course.
They should put more cops, half that money they're spending, and put more cops in uniform. That's what they should do. This city is starting to be a disaster. Really, it is. I mean, it's crazy. It's really crazy.
Well, the city council turned down drones that would have been a very effective tool for flying over the city and catching up to criminals in a car instead of having cruisers chase through, streets where pedestrians and stop signs and all these things are. The drone could just bring police right to wherever they're going, and they turned that down a few years ago. I thought that was a big mistake, and now we have flock cameras, which are an excellent tool to document, the vehicle, the plate, all that stuff, and they want to just do away with it without, doing something like Brian Gomes was suggesting, which is to have a meeting, see how you can balance civil liberties and an effective tool for police.
I'll say one more thing. When election time comes up, I hope most of these people get voted out. I really do. And then the governor, too. Shame on all of them. Other than that, have a nice day.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I agree. The governor, she's a disaster. Came as advertised. I knew she was going to be a radical. I knew she was going to be disorganized. I knew she was going to be inefficient. And 4 reasons to get rid of her: immigration, utilities, taxes, late term abortion, which most pro-choice people are in agreement that, as soon as the baby can register pain and suffering, you stop at that stage. That's not the position of Massachusetts any longer. We're going to go right up to the day the baby is going to be delivered. As long as the baby's in the womb, at any point, they can just intercept that life and snuff it out with a very violent procedure. That is barbarism. And even a lot of pro-choice people agree with that. So there's 4 major reasons to get rid of this governor. And there are not 4 reasons to keep her, by the way. There's now 2. I mean, if she's going to go up on taxes. And she tried, because I think Governor Haley was a little clever here. She ran on, I will not raise taxes. But what she did do is she made it so that local municipalities can decide if they want to go up on taxes and take the blame off of her and put it on, John Mitchell and select board or around, whichever you belong to, a city hall or town hall. She passed the buck. So you couldn't say she technically raised the taxes. She gave the authority for local municipalities to do it. So she's off the hook in case she wants to run for something like the presidency. Didn't raise taxes in Massachusetts as a Democrat. That's a miracle. But She just was very clever about it. Not clever enough where people like me couldn't figure it out, right? But there's not enough reasons to keep her. We definitely need a change in the corner office to keep this crazy. The Demunists, right? The Democrats and Communists are merging. It's the Demunist party now. And it's happening at blinding speed. It's something we said was going to happen, but that's just right-wing fear radio. Partial birth abortion, that's right-wing fear radio. Both are realities right now. We've been warning you for years. And I've been telling the moderate Democrat friends of mine, if you don't speak up, you're going to be gone. They're going to bypass you for radicals. It's happening. I think the earliest sign that I saw, or it was reality, not just a guess, an educated guess, was Capuano, replaced by Ayanna Pressley. She's a lunatic, radical left communist. Capuano was strong on ACA, right? The American Care Act under Obama. He's a great union guy, very, very steadfast Democrat. But he wasn't a lunatic, and they threw him out easily for Ayanna Pressley, the radical city councilor of Boston. And now it looks like there's some sort of agreement where they're going to get rid of Seth Moulton, and she's going to be your next U.S. senator. That's the plan. Ayanna Pressley will be replacing Markey after his next term. Seth Moulton's cooked. He's done. He's not going to win that race. The 80-year-old ice cream man is going to continue to waste space and do nothing for Massachusetts. We have 2 U.S. senators who just grandstand on national issues of which they have no control, talk about how they would like to see things, and get paid $174,000 for doing absolutely nothing for the Commonwealth. But that's your choice. Collectively, we get the government we deserve. So Markey's going to be back until he's 86 years old, unless he passes away or has to resign for health issues. It's absurd, but this is the collective wisdom of the Massachusetts voter. And the plan is for Ayanna Pressley to be your next U.S. senator. As crazy as that sounds, that's where we're at in Massachusetts. And that's because the moderates in the party were too paralyzed with fear to speak out and change the direction of this party. It is now out of control. Pro-Marxist, proud Marxism. It's not just here, but where we live here. This is where we need to make the fight, and it's something we're losing at the moment for sure. 508-996-0500. I also talked about the Lindsay Clancy trial. Very unfortunate development. People in large numbers, women. From what I can tell, they're very liberal women, in particular, showing up in defense of Lindsay Clancy. And just like me, none of those ladies know if we're talking about a devious monster or somebody that is truly innocent by means of insanity. But because they don't know, they should not be out there, both feet in the water, supporting her, as though they know she's not just conning anybody and is really a psychopath. She may very well be innocent by means of insanity. I'm not saying she's not, but I don't know. And it's just unfortunate they so recklessly do things like this, right? Mangione shoots a CEO of a healthcare company in the back, and he's treated like a war hero. He's got a cult following. Women asking, marry me while you're in jail. I cannot believe what we're seeing. Charlie Kirk's assassin has a cult following. He's a hero on the left. It's astonishing. And so when I look back and say, how the hell did people turn to Bolshevik, violent communists back in the beginning of the 20th century in Eastern Europe? How did people turn to Nazism and go along with the agenda of Hitler? You can now understand it. You are seeing it at blinding speed how fast things change. These American Marxists who are proudly standing up to these ignorant young people for the most part, and gray-haired lefty hippies who are teaching them in the schools, they'd be fighting their own grandparents and great-grandparents who fought communism, who fought National Socialism, Nazis. And it's so imbalanced in our higher education that conservatives are not hired. They are eliminated from consideration. We have New England has 28 liberal professors to one conservative. That's how lopsided it is. That's what sort of ideological bigotry is going on in academia, and nobody's confronting it. Nobody's fixing it. There's no balance. Conservatives show up on a college campus, they're shot in the neck. Fires are started, right? We saw UCal, Berkeley, Ben Shapiro, others. They show up, they're attacked. Riots ensue. Maniacal lefties just take over. And the police put their hands in their waist and let them have their hissy fits and roll barrels on fire down the hills, and they'll clean it up later. Yeah, but Ken, January 6th. Yeah, I agree with you. People did stupid things and should have been arrested and were. But when I scroll down your list, you're not going to want to talk about it. You'll just, well, but January 6th. Absolutely absurd. Ay. Probably the first time we haven't seen the sun on a Saturday in months, Ryan, right? We bragged about the weather every week, and now we're in a cycle of rain. I think for the next 4 or 5 days we'll see some showers.
No, Monday's supposed to be sunny, Ken.
Yeah, one day in the next 5 or 6,
and then they were saying yesterday that the best day of the weekend is today, Ken.
This?
Because tomorrow...
Well, tonight it's going to rain, right?
Tomorrow it's supposed to rain all day.
Yeah. I mean, not that we don't need it.
Yeah,
right?
we need the water, Ken.
Yeah. But I like it on Monday and Tuesday, not Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, because we all know where you go on Saturdays and Sundays. If it's nice out.
If it's nice, I'll try to sneak in an hour or so at the beach. Why not? All right, so other than that, we got the Pats on tonight. Probably the only time Drake May will step on the field for the rest of the preseason in terms of games. There's only one more game after this, and they'll have 2 weeks to prepare for the NFL season, which is very, very tough. The first 4 games the Patriots will play will be the toughest schedule any team has opened with in the first 4 games since 1986.
Yeah, because you got the Seahawks week 1, you got Pittsburgh week 2, I think.
In New England, right?
What was the?
Then you got to go to Buffalo, and then you host the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, that's.
But those 4 teams had a combined 72% winning percentage last year. Jaguars pretty much haven't really done much in the offseason. They're going with the same pretty much squad they went with last year. Buffalo, I think we could possibly go. You're going to laugh at me. We could do 3-1. If we do 2-2, I think we'd win the division. If we win these first 4 games, if we win 2 out of the next 4 games, the beginning of the season, I think because we got the Jets twice, we got the Dolphins twice. If we win 11, 12 games, that's good enough for, I think, the division title once again over the Bills. But that's easier said than done.
Ken, don't sleep on the Jets this year.
I'm not going to sleep on them. I think they're going to win 6, 7 games. They're going to be improved for sure.
Gino played well yesterday.
He's 36.
7 for 7 for 65 yards.
Yeah. He's 36, and his track record overall isn't all that great. But they do continue to draft well, right? They've, like the Giants, both New York teams have drafted well. The Giants have addressed their quarterback issue. I mean, Jackson Dart, I think, is a franchise quarterback. The Jets are still on the hunt.
Yeah, Jackson Dart needs.
Brian's going to chime in here.
May I ask a question? Why do you think the Giants and the Jets draft well?
Because I like the roster picks that they've made.
No. Why do you think they draft well? Because they're always at the bottom of the pile. They get the first few draft picks.
I know, but at the same time, none of them have been real busts outside of quarterback. They've got some good players, right? I mean, if you
what's the record show?
The records show that the front office still isn't getting it done because it takes more than just drafting.
Oh, I won't argue that.
Right? You got to do things with free agency. You got to do things at the front office, coaching, organization. There's a lot to it, but at the same time, in the last 3 years, with coaching changes or not, the front offices of these 2 organizations have done a nice job putting some pieces on that field.
And then what happens to those pieces? Sauce Gardner, for instance, where is he now?
Well, they got 4 first-round draft choices for him, but he's at Indianapolis.
Can you believe that? You're correct. He's in Indianapolis. Let's watch to see what they do with those draft choices.
Well, they got the number 2 player in the draft who had a big sack last night. What's his name? The defensive end.
From Texas Tech.
Bailey.
Yeah, Bailey.
Yeah. I mean, he's. I'm not worried about him. I think that's a stud right there.
I don't think the Patriots are going to tie every game of the season, but they tied last week.
Yeah. I mean, with 4th-round guys and guys who are on the bubble.
And who did he have a sack against?
He had it against
a starter,
second stringers, and it was who'd they play? Pittsburgh last night.
No, it was Will Howard. It wasn't Rodgers.
Right. Yeah, Rodgers. They're not worried about him. He's going to show up on the regular season. I
hope he does.
He's at the point where he's like Brady. He has all the answers to every question.
Brady came out on the field.
Did he?
Yeah.
Last couple of years for Tampa.
Well, I'm thinking as a Patriot.
Well, he had 3 more seasons after that.
Yeah. I understand that. Yeah, and
Aaron Rodgers, I think they're right. They don't have to worry about him getting the rust off. He's going to be just as good in the first game as he is in the 15th. He's old.
Or just as bad.
But this guy is a bona fide proven quarterback, right?
I would agree with that.
Over the hill, maybe from past his prime, but still can be effective.
I don't know. He should be a leader.
They made the playoffs last year, Pittsburgh.
Because everybody else lost.
Baltimore tanked. Cincinnati was banged up.
Yeah. And Cleveland's
building. Now, Cleveland has a mixed bag. Cleveland has a mixed bag. I wouldn't say they drafted well.
Let me get my Browns hat.
Yeah, I know. You're a Browns fan, but look, they get rid of
please, don't get me wrong.
By the way,
I'm not a Browns fan.
Myles Garrett. No, you're a Raiders fan. Myles Garrett, I think he breaks his own sack record this year. I think he shatters it over in L.A. That's what I'll tell you to do. If you're on DraftKings or something like that, that's a bet I would make. I'm going to say he gets 27 sacks this year. Because he plays.
What's his name? Did what's his name come out of retirement? Donaldson?
He's still going back and forth. He's working out.
Oh boy, I would go with your bet on if Donaldson returns.
Donalds.
Yeah.
I'll say this.
Donaldson. Sam Donaldson.
You are on a Cleveland team. You got 23.5 sacks last year on a team that watched a lot of teams run the ball in the second half because they had a nice lead over Cleveland, right? They didn't have to pass. You're playing on the Rams this year. People are going to be passing on the Rams for 60 minutes most of those games. He's going to have his opportunities.
Yeah, well, he's a player.
He's a great
player. As long as he
player.
doesn't take somebody's helmet off.
And they got a good player for him. And Jared Verse is a pretty good player, too. Cleveland did a nice job not only getting draft choices, but they get Jared Verse. They did a nice job because you're taking advantage of the L.A. Rams who recognize in Matthew Stafford's age, it's all or nothing this year for the Rams. They're all in.
Yeah, but I would have kept Verse. I mean, he's great.
They wouldn't do the trade without him.
Maybe.
No, they said it.
Well.
So they got Jared Verse, they got draft choices. So Cleveland's front office did a nice job on that one, even though they lose a generational player like Myles Garrett.
I look at it this way. So they didn't get if they didn't get Myles Garrett, they could have picked up what's his name off the Raiders.
Oh, Crosby?
Yeah.
You know, we keep hearing he's available. Where is he right now? He's on the Raiders.
Yeah.
So I mean, were they just toying with other teams?
I don't know.
Right?
I think he has an interest in wanting to win.
I think the Patriots probably were on the phone with them, right? Because this is a guy that would be a great New England Patriot. They have a great need at pass rush. We have a deep pool of wide receivers, which is a weakness of the Raiders right now. I would think that conversation took place. They're not moving Crosby for some reason.
Well, because maybe they want to win. I hope. They're
not going to. That division is tough.
Every division is tough.
The AFC West is very tough. You got Denver is a good team, right? The Chargers are improving.
Yeah.
Kansas City's not done yet.
Get.
Kansas City's not. They're not an elite team, but they're good enough with Mahomes back there to do anything.
Rarely do all 4 teams get the opportunity to make the playoffs in a division.
I don't think I've ever seen it. I
don't know that you can. I mean, even if you had 3 wild card teams, it would be very well. I think we almost got it the other year with Minnesota, but Chicago stunk. You remember?
Yeah, you had Minnesota, Green Bay, and Detroit.
Yeah,
and Detroit was 15-1. Minnesota came in second place at 14-3. most years that's good enough for a divisional title.
And I think Green Bay
did.
had, 4 losses, 5 losses?
They had a good record, yeah. I forget exactly what it was, but they were very competent. And so, but you get 4 teams in the same division. They play each other 6 times a year. It's tough to get 4 teams in the playoffs. I don't think it's ever been done.
Well, I guess you could. I don't know that it's ever been done. I don't think it has. Well, how many years have we had 3 playoff teams, 3 wild card teams?
It's been a number now.
A decade?
I would say maybe more, 12, 14 years.
How many years have we done 17 games in a season?
7, 8?
I don't know. I was going to say
Somewhere
4,
around.
but 7 or 8 could easily be right.
I think it was late in Brady's tenure here.
You think Brady had a 17-game season?
Yeah.
With the Patriots?
I think he had 2 or 3.
No,
I don't know. I'll take your word for it.
I'll say 2.
Well, look it up. When did the NFL turn to a 17-game schedule? But my point is, it's very difficult to get 4 teams from the same division in the playoffs. I don't know that it's ever been done or ever could be done mathematically.
Well, I suppose it could be if you win all your games outside your division.
NFC West, you had 3 last year. You had the San Fran, Seattle, L.A.
3's not uncommon.
Right.
It's not easy, but
5 years, Ken.
It's only been 5 years, so 2021, so Brady was already gone. All right.
This will be the 5th or this will be the 6th?
It'll be the 6th.
Okay.
Now, here's something that's interesting. Drake May was the MVP runner-up last year by 1 vote.
Mm-hmm.
How many 300 games passing do you think he had last year?
They didn't have. He didn't have many, Ken.
He had 1. That's hard to do. You got to have.
Who was it against?
I don't know. I think. Wait a minute. I do know.
Was it Cleveland?
I think it was Baltimore. I think it was against Baltimore, and he had a lot of yards in that game. But he's always had 280, 260, whatever, consistent. But compare that with Matthew Stafford, who was throwing for almost 5,000 yards, and he still was in the running for MVP.
Yeah,
well, the team, part of that is what the team did.
Got his team to the Super Bowl,
and he runs the ball fairly well when he runs it.
And I would trade that. Either go to the Super Bowl or have your quarterback win the MVP. I'd rather have the Super Bowl berth. Right?
Yeah.
508-996-0500. Your Raiders are going to be in a tough position this day. Very good tight end. Quarterback situation looks like it's... If they let him learn, I think he's going to be good. Mendoza.
How many weeks?
Oh, how about a year?
That'd be nice. But I don't know that you can go that long. I don't know that Kirk Cousins is...
Depends on the school of thought.
Well, I guess it depends on what the team does. Let's go back.
Let's say Cousins goes... Let's say Cousins does his typical 3,800 with 30 touchdowns and 14 interceptions. That's a good year.
That's a typical?
Yeah, he's good. He's pretty prolific. He's been on some very good offenses. Minnesota, the Redskins.
And are you putting the Raiders in that category?
No.
Yeah.
No, I think the Raiders are going to struggle with yardage from wide receivers this year. I think there's going to be a lot of problems out there.
And they're going to kill their running back giving them the ball too much.
There's another thing, Jonty. Yeah, he's going to have to do a lot of work.
He had to do a lot of work last year, and look what happened.
Yeah. I think Seattle has a setback this year. I don't think they return to the Super Bowl.
Well, I can vote for they don't go back. But I don't think the Patriots are going to go back either.
I think it's going to be hard for both.
Yeah. Well, it's always hard for the team that loses the Super Bowl, except for the Patriots.
Yeah.
But
it's difficult.
It's very difficult.
But this is a better team than it was last year, playing a much
Which
better...
one?
The Patriots. On paper, I mean, if you could replace Diggs with A.J. Brown, you'd do it 100 times out of 100, I would think. And I don't know. I don't have anything bad to say about Stephon Diggs. I didn't think I'd like him here. He's very good in the locker room, very good on the field.
You don't think you would take A.J. Brown over Stephon Diggs?
Absolutely.
You too?
On paper?
No.
Wow.
No. I'd take Stephon Diggs.
Oh, my God, you guys. Come on.
No, I wouldn't take
Stephon
Diggs.
He's not a true number one anymore.
I don't know that A.J. Brown is either.
He's going to be 35 this year. A.J. Brown's 29. He's been a number one wherever he goes.
I'm not saying... I don't think
he's got a ring.
Anymore.
Huh?
He wasn't with the Eagles last year. He was number 2 last year.
Yeah, but he's a true number one. And when they won it in 24, he was the number one. And the year before that, on Tennessee, he was number one. He's a real number one guy. Now, and that's without guys who know how to throw the ball, because Hurts is not a passer. right? Now you got Drake May, a pure passer. And watch that combination. Let me tell you something. He's going to have, here's my prediction. He'll have 1,600 yards, 10 touchdowns.
I think Stephon Diggs had the problem that everybody was covering him last year.
Yeah, they're going to double team.
I don't see that not happening to A.J. Brown. I don't think he's as elusive as Stephon Diggs, but I think he's got the height.
And Stephon Diggs is an underneath guy. A.J. Brown can run the whole tree of routes.
Well, we'll see. Look,
I know.
We'll see. I hope you can.
And he'll have the luxury of having an improved wide receiving core to support him, so they may not be able to double team him as much.
I think Philly had a great wide receiving core.
Devontae and A.J. Brown?
Yeah.
That's two. I think this Patriot offense presents more challenges than...
I think when you use your running backs the way the Patriots do, absolutely.
Yeah. Two good specialists at what they do. We'll be right back to wrap this up. You're listening to Ken Pittman on WBSM. Brian's up at 1 p.m. today, right after Jose Matos and Money Matters.
WBSM, New Bedford's news talk station. Listen at home or in the office on your smart speaker. Enable our skill and tell your smart speaker, play WBSM. We are New Bedford's news talk station. WBSM.
$508-996-0500. It is 11:56. Well, good conversation today. Some really good telephone calls about the City Hall fiasco in the City Council chambers. I think we can all agree that Mr. Pereira hopefully learned something about that evening. Not his best moment. The lack of enforcement of the rules there, and after bringing in the troops to enforce, they weren't utilized. That is going to be answered, right? The question. What do you mean you didn't know what you were signing when the City Council voted for a $36,000+ renewal of the flock cameras, and they said it was vague. We didn't know what we were signing. Nobody in that chamber has the intellectual curiosity or capacity to question what it is you're paying for. Nobody come on, I don't believe that for a minute. I don't believe it for a minute that did not come up, that they didn't know what they were paying for. If so, then that's just incompetence. Right, that's grounds for dismissal in my mind.
The counselor, counselors,
whoever didn't know what they were paying for.
Well,
it's your job. You get.
I'm not arguing that. There were a whole bunch of counselors that said they didn't know.
I don't believe them,
and I believe that. Well, by the way it was listed, I guess I can believe them. I can also believe under the circumstance of the night. I'm going to bring it up. I have Leo Choquette coming in during the 2:00 hour. Mm-hmm. We're definitely going to talk about what you're bringing up.
How is it possible you don't know what you're paying for? That's your job.
I'm not arguing.
That's half a cop salary, just about, right? 36 grand? 72 grand?
If you do overtime, maybe not. But yeah.
But that's a lot of money.
I'm not arguing you. I'm just thinking of the circumstance of that particular night, how it slipped by them.
They weren't voting for, plasticware in the break room. They were voting for something major. This is a major renewal subscription.
Yeah, under a different name.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Nobody has the intellectual curiosity to say, what is it? What is it? But you want me to vote for it? Sure, but what is it?
Okay.
That's dumb. It's either dumb, incompetent, or a lie. One of the three.
I'll go with 1 and 2 that you came up. I don't know that it's a lie.
I think it's a lie somewhere. There's no way all of them didn't know.
Well, the cameras have been out there, and they didn't know the cameras were out there.
I don't believe that.
Okay. Well,
I don't believe that.
I'm not arguing with you.
I don't believe it. I think this is one of these CYA moments. That's what I think we're looking at.
I think where the real CYA is right now is you've got a police chief who has this thrown on his lap, who wasn't here when they came out, and I haven't heard the mayor say too much about this. Have you?
No, and I think I would reserve the right to remain silent until he gets all the facts. And I think this could be a great tool for police, and that needs to be brought up throughout this whole thing, because we're talking about doing away with a very effective tool. That's it for me, Brian. Thanks, Brian. Thank you for coming in. We'll be back next week, 9 a.m. Saturday.
WBSM and W258DR, New Bedford, a Town Square media station.